Thank you so much, Karan, for giving me this time
No, absolute pleasure.
and supporting me in this mission of mine
Yes.
of spreading awareness on how lifestyle choices affect our physical and mental health.
Right.
And Karan, in my opinion, I'm a physician, and in my opinion, there are a few factors affecting our health, our mental and physical health. You know, what you feed your body, how you rest your body, how you move it, and most important of all, in my opinion, is what you feed your mind,
Right.
or how you nourish it.
Right.
So today, that's the main focus of our interview. It's around mindset and how it affects our health. And Karan, you've been through some challenges in life.
Yes.
You've talked about it in your book. I've read your book.
Okay.
Awesome book. And in my opinion, you've emerged as a winner. Towards that, my first question, Karan, is fear of failure. You've talked about that.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, we face that. That fear, it not just stops us from pursuing our goals, but in the long run, it affects our physical and our mental health. And you've talked about it, how, you've overcome it to a great extent. And so my question is, any particular strategies? How did you manage to do that? It's so liberating to not have that fear of failure.
I don't think there's any inbuilt strategy that you can really adopt. I think, initially when you're achieving and you kind of, have so much to achieve and so much to do, you put a lot of emphasis on success and failure. You want success and you fear failure. But the thing is that I think you have to deal with both of them in the same way. Like, I think you have to contemplate failure and deal with success with relief. That's what I do. Whenever I succeed, I'm relieved. I don't fester. I don't let it live in my system for too long. I move on to the next thing. And when I fail, I contemplate it. So that's also a job that I need to do. Like, I contemplate why it failed, what was wrong, was I deluded, was I unaware? I get into that. So sometimes failure engages me to do things, not to kind of allow it to depress me, sadden me, suck me in, but actually failure gives you work. Success gives you direction. Success gives you okay, now this was good, now moving on to the next thing. Now I can achieve the next goal. But failure requires a lot of work post the failure. Two things you can do. You can either work on that failure and creatively, productively take your thoughts and energize them towards working on correcting what went wrong, as opposed to allowing it, which is the plan, which is the second stage of what normally happens, is where it sucks you into its zone. It makes you sad, it makes you depressed.
Exactly.
It weakens you.
Exactly.
And it's counterproductive because it does nothing to enrich you.
Exactly.
So I think the moment there's a failure, like if a film of mine fails, something that I do fails, whatever I do fails, I'm like, okay, why did this go wrong? It went wrong because I didn't give it time. Okay, so I need to give more time. Or my strategy didn't work. Or the product didn't work because I didn't give it that attention. Or I chose, my instinct on this was wrong. Whatever it is, I give it a certain amount of work. So that immediately, sometimes when something fails, I get busy. When you get busy in kind of wondering what went wrong, it takes away the ability for you to go sad, go low, go depressed. And then it empowers you, enriches you with that knowledge, and you move on to something else in any case.
That is so true.
So I think that you have to be and I always say, success and failure are both transient. Both will come, both will go. Success will come and go, as will failure. So you can't put any emphasis on either. What you have to do and put any kind of emphasis is on personal successes and failure. Those are things that require a lot more, I think, attention than professional. I think personal successes would be enriched relationships. Personal failures would be weakened ones. Personal successes are living a healthy life. Personal failures are not living one. So I think those require more of your attention sometimes than professional ones. But we are unfortunately in an ecosystem that just is governed by money and therefore by success.
We're so focused on.
So we tend to not realize those things, and we've all been. And of course, I would say the fact that you're human, you're allowed to go through everything. Because that's the gift, or rather the curse of being
alive.
Being alive, kicking, aware, and you're going to go through the beats. But awareness is everything. That's what I feel is the first thing, is that any zone of spirituality, religion, meditation, all it does is it makes you aware of yourself.
Right.
shortcomings and your strengths both.
Exactly.
And I think that's one thing that we need to be is in touch with the ground reality of ourselves.
Yeah. We've also talked a lot about your emotional baggages in the past, and you've talked that we don't share our emotional baggages with our close ones, friends, family. Be it guilt, anger, jealousy, hatred, regrets, whatever it is, and that's such a common problem. And a lot of these toxic emotions, they affect, as a physician, I can say that they affect our body at a cellular level.
Of course.
They change our biochemistry. They change the electrical activity of our brain. But now research shows that it actually changes the structure of our neurons, of our brain. And you've talked about, going back in time and releasing some of those emotions.
Yeah.
And I really wish it was just easy to lose these emotional baggages as easy as, airlines lose our baggages. But it's just so hard. Can you give one example of how exactly, what do you mean by, releasing emotions? Like, how did you do it?
I don't know. I just find the futility of holding on to something. It's so futile because I feel what we do is every time we lose a loved one, we go there and we feel, and it's a sudden death especially, and it's what occurs to all of us.
Yeah.
That life is so short. Relationships are so important. Let's not get petty or petulant. Let's give it everything because one day things could go away.
Yes.
And then after 3 days, we are back to being the same petty, petulant, silly, overtly, hyperly sensitive, touchy, idiotic, not pragmatic people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everything seems so stupid. Why can't we just carrying the baggage of the past and bringing it into the present is the most counterproductive thing you can do to your life.
Right.
You have to let go. And there is so much futility holding on to things, that bother you. I don't think they do anything for you.
Right.
Like you've got to just, I think forgive, forget, these are all things to say. You've got to eventually let go. You have to let go. Like, I don't think I have any hate in me for anything anymore.
Okay.
Like, there used to be things that you resent or get upset with and you hold on to. But all it's doing is making you sick. Like, I feel when I'm at peace with myself, I'm also the healthiest.
Yes, exactly. Mentally and physically.
I know when I fester and keep it in my heart, I think I'll get a tumor. Because it will result in that.
Right.
And I used to believe that, I don't communicate everything I feel. I keep it to myself and then one day I burst. But you can be a heart patient, you can be a blood pressure patient.
Exactly.
Because you're all... I know when my father was the type of person who used to keep a lot in his heart and not say to many people who may have hurt and upset him. And he had eventually, to me, I used to always say, Papa, why did you say it? Why did you say it? Why did you say it? The irony is, I don't know if it's true or it's truly, or just medically it had to happen to him, but he had a big tumor in his esophagus. And I feel that came because he didn't speak his mind. And I think that's what pressure, I'm a blood pressure patient and I take medication every morning. But it's better now, my pressure, because I released off my pressure.
Right.
I just feel like, I'm not saying I've reached any great nirvana, I'm very far from it. I have all the same human traits that we all suffer from.
Well, it's a work in progress.
And I'm working it, and there is progress. And I feel like it's a very simple, to some things, I just put a logic to it. I'm feeling so bitter and angry and upset. What is it doing really for me? Of course, I get my moods. Traffic in the city can drive you crazy. So there are two ways.
I realized that today.
I'll grumble, I'll upset. But can I run out of that car? Can I do anything about it? So either I find 3 things to do in the car because I know I'm going to take an hour and 20 minutes from Bandra to Andheri. So I should find work to do.
Yes.
And I have calls to make, emails to answer or music to listen. And I'm sometimes feel surprised when I'm reaching an hour. And I'm oh great, I saved 20 minutes. Good. There's 2 ways of looking at it.
Yeah. Just shift in the mindset. Just a little shift.
And I'm nobody's blessed to be completely sane. But there are ways and means you can.
Yeah.
If you can just switch the logic button on where it comes to baggage and annoyances and irritation, really, what is it doing to me?
Yeah.
It's not doing anything for me.
Right.
It's actually making me more unwell. And health is everything.
Exactly.
It's everything.
Yes.
You have to feel good about yourself. You've got to let go of baggage. Because the more you walk light, the better you will be on your feet.
Absolutely. And, going back to what you said about your dad, recently I had organized a cancer prevention conference in Hyderabad. And specifically, I talked about, mental and emotional issues and how that can, cause, maybe not directly cancer, but it can definitely make you more susceptible to one.
Of course.
And now even research and science shows that, your immune system is, shut down, and, all the other organs, they're affected with these toxic emotions that we hold in our body. And cancer is no exception. It does take a toll on our health.
I think that, a healthy mind, a baggage-free soul is so important, and I think that detachment is taught to us in every kind of vertical of spirituality teaches you detachment. That detachment doesn't mean your inability, your ability to not love or to not give. Detachment is detachment from these things.
Yeah.
Detachment from negativity.
Right. Exactly.
Detachment from extreme emotions,
right.
extreme fear, extreme. We are sometimes I feel as a human race we seek disappointment. We want to be disillusioned because when we are happy and content with something, we don't trust it. We're not trusting people. We're not a race that trusts so easily because of past experiences and history.
Yeah.
We don't trust. We're also seeking this person will let me down. This partnership will let me down. This employee will let me down. Maybe they won't. And maybe they have their own struggles. Have you looked at it from their perspective? Sometimes, we're all about ourselves. I think it's so important to be in touch with yourself, to know what somebody else is also about. Because we all have individual journeys. And we all have individual, and sometimes, when you do something a lot for somebody, maybe your family, you feel like, I've done so much, what has he or she done for me? Maybe they are doing things that you have not noticed.
Right.
Because you're so
in
about
different
what
ways.
you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And maybe everybody has a bandwidth of doing stuff.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, half the time we do things for people, we do it for ourselves. To feel good about how great we are. How much of it is really for that person? It's really that I'm doing so much for my mother.
Right.
But she did a lot for you. So
they just have their own way of doing it.
And with parents, I always say it's very simple. No matter how annoying things can be when they grow older, if you don't feel it, replace that emotion with duty. Because that's your duty now. You may not feel the love. You might get irritation. Just know it's your duty, you got to do it. Because they did it for you. It's your karmic payback. If you don't treat that, don't not do it, because that would not be, I am very strong about what kids are to parents. That to me is a separate dynamic altogether. I believe that replace love with duty if love doesn't exist.
If it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Understand that it's your duty.
Right.
Just like, you have a responsibility to your environment, you have one to your family and parents.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Talking about time management, poor time management is such a huge stressor for a lot of us. I read this on somebody's T-shirt the other day. Running late is my cardio.
Yeah.
And that's, we probably, all of us can relate to it, right? It's such a huge stressor and causes a lot of impact on our health these days, especially, this day and time.
I think there's enough hours given to us in the day. There's much to do about that, I mean, I think we're blessed with so many hours in the day to do many things, And I sleep well. I sleep about 6 hours a day.
Okay.
6 to 7 sometimes. I have babies now. I have a mother that I live with. I have a work in a company and I do everything. And I don't see myself I run, I work very hard. But I don't take, the one thing that I do is I don't take weekends off. So I work 7 days a week.
So you get 2 extra days.
Yeah. So I get 2 extra days. I don't have a weekend. I work, but within. I'm not in a marriage or relationship, so that is something that I don't give time to. So the one advantage I have over most people is that I am a father, but I'm not a husband. So that also, I have one less responsibility. So with the result, and I have a mother that I co-parent my kids with right now. So it's a good arrangement. And I work 7 days a week. For me, today's Saturday, I'm here tomorrow in the office again. I have meetings after this, and then after this, I have meetings every day. And I don't, so the one, I mean, it's not something that I recommend to people, but I'm not, you have to get time out for yourself. But for me, the greatest gift that I can have is that I enjoy my work. It's also
exactly. I was going to say that.
My work is not like a job. It's my love. It's my life. So imagine having a great time 7 days a week. Why should I? So I mean, the first thing I would say to anyone is do what you love, even if it pays you less. You know, I'm sure that if I was in the corporate, I would be making much more money.
Yeah.
And if I had a public listed company, I would be doing so much more.
Yeah.
I'm not really for
You
that.
wouldn't enjoy that as much.
I love what I do, and that I can enjoy doing it. And I can make time. I do television, I do radio, I do film.
I know.
I do everything. I enjoy it all.
Right, you write.
I don't do anything that I don't enjoy. And what makes me happy, I do it even if it doesn't conform to what it is to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
You gotta love what you do, and you have to stop worrying about what people say. I gave up on that. That's the one thing. I'm like literally dance like no one's watching.
Okay, one last question, Karan.
Yeah.
So I'm part of Dublin Unified School District's Wellness Committee. Dublin is the city where I live, and I specifically make programs for mental health of children in elementary and middle schools. So these are elementary and middle school students who go through. There's a lot of stress. Even in kids this age, there's a lot of stress, not just studies related, but and identity crisis, peer pressure, bullying, self-esteem. And I know from your book that I read that you went through some of that yourself as a kid. Any words of wisdom for them?
I mean, there were things in school that happened when, I was a very effeminate child, and, there were kids in my building and neighborhood that used to make fun of me. And I know it got me very... It drew me into a shell, and I remember that most of my problems came from there. Did I realize that actually what it did is it also woke me up to the fact that I have to tap into my strengths to do something that I am comfortable doing, for me to prove that I am somebody who can rise above this. So I think I went into tapping into my... So when I used to play sport and I wasn't good at it because I was overweight and I was effeminate and the boys made fun of me, I was like, okay, this may not be my thing.
This is not my strength.
So maybe my strength is something else. I realized my strength was theatre. It was elocution. And the irony is that the kids who was house captain, who made fun of me because of what I had to come and ask me eventually to join the team to basically for my house. We had houses, red house, blue house. Our students were divided into 4 houses.
Okay.
And he once came to me and he was like, you know what? You must take part in the elocution. We need the points for our house. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And and that was the irony. That he needed me eventually to come and do, because I was so good at drama, theatre, elocution, that for our house to win, they needed a balance of both, because he was not doing so well with sport. And I'm like, and that made me feel great. For me, I didn't throw it back at him. But I was like, to me, that was a victory. So I went into my head and I was like, either I can resent this completely as a child, or quietly go into a strength of mine. It could be playing a violin. It could be playing a guitar. It could be being amazing at academics. Find that strength. And don't be mediocre at everything. Because there's something that everyone is
that
good
you can excel.
But I wish the parents would realize that. If your child is not considered normal, for the lack of a better way of saying it, compared to the others, there's something they do that is better than the others. And leverage that strength. And that's what I did it on my own. But I realized that would be my motto to how I would raise my kids. If I see they have a spark as a singer, dancer, boy, girl, doesn't matter. They will do something, and make sure you encourage that.
Right.
It could be sport, it could be the field of drama, it could be the field of the liberal arts, it could be education, academics, or it could be anything. Everyone's good at something.